Hey guys, it is Monday, May 22nd, and I haven't filmed since Saturday, so I wanted to do a quick video and show you what I've been working on. So, I mentioned in my video on Saturday that I was going to have a new start, which is the Francis Eden sampler. It's an Adam and Eve sampler, and here is what it looks like. And part of what I love about this is the colors in it. I love the bright colors. Of course, I love Adam and Eve samplers, and this one's got two fantastic houses on it as well. In a couple of verses. So yeah, this has been on my bucket list to stitch for forever. And as I mentioned, a friend of mine had actually gifted me with the fabric and the threads, the Vicky Clayton silks for it. So, yeah. So here's what I've got done. This, of course, is the snake circled around that tree, and the base of that tree. I'm in love with the black and white snake. And then the red is actually the apple, and you can see that little teeny bit there of Eve's hand. I may actually, I kind of stopped where I was last night once I got there, because I don't think that thread shows up really well, so I may actually go like a shade darker so that it'll show up on my fabric, because as I get farther away, you can kind of see this is Vintage Exemplar 40 count by Lakeside, and it's, you know, a little on the dark side, which is why I chose it, because I really wanted those colors to pop. Plus, this is when Siobhan stitched hers, she did it on Vintage Exemplar with the Vicky Clayton silk. So that's why Katrina and I decided to do ours exactly the same. So I had a bit of a false start on this one, and so let me just tell you a little bit about that. So if I flip this over, you can actually see the back there of where I had started up in that top left-hand corner. I started over there, and then like the further that I got along, I think I may have started too close to the edge. And so like when you look at the chart, so I did this star, and then I came in here to do the, you don't need to be that close on my fingers. And then I came in here to do the butterfly, and I was just so close to the edge, and I thought, this is not good. So I decided that I just left it there rather than ripping it out, and I decided that I would start in the center, which is why I've restarted in the center. And then I had a little bit of another false start, because as I was looking at this, I mean, when you look at the photo, and this is charted for DMC, when you look at the photo, that grass and the, you know, the hill and then the tree itself, that looks like a pretty dark green. And I kept going and looking at photos of people's finishes and kept thinking, my green does not look that dark. So this is the color that it calls for. The Vicky Clayton conversion is this Willow Withies, which is kind of a medium green. And I just kept looking at it and kept looking at it and kept looking at it. And so, you know, I sort of stopped where I was Saturday night. I had just gotten a little bit of the tree done. I stopped where I was and decided that Sunday morning I would just go and pull all of the DMC and see, you know, where I had differences between the Vicki Clayton conversion versus the DMC. And when I pulled this green, you probably can't tell that much on the camera, but that's a pretty, it's a big difference in real life between those two greens. The DMC green is much, much brighter than this one, and you know, it's about a shade darker as well. So then I looked at some of my other ones, and even like this. So this tangerine color is what's called for all of the skin, and it's, you know, just barely kind of a peachy color. The DMC is a good shade darker, if not two, which again isn't translating very well on the camera. This tangerine color, the silk, that's what I used on the snake. And I don't know about you, but that reads white. That does not read peachy colored. And I actually did her hand in the DMC. So you can see the difference between the two stitched there. That's a huge difference. And I don't really want my people to be that bright white color. So, and again, I think that this is too close to my fabric color, so I may pull that out and go another shade darker and see how I like that. But definitely not that white color, because yeah, that's super white. So I think that, I mean, you know, and some of them are you know, really close in color. I'm just going to show you another one that I think is, you know, super close. So this one. This, and some of mine are on spools and some are in hanks. So this is Winterberry, and, you know, it's kind of a dark plummy color, and really, you know, the DMC color is almost spot on. I hate to use that phrase because my stupid manager, temporary manager, uses that phrase all the time. So yeah, no. But then there's like this. Like there's this really, you know, yellowy green color, but then the DMC is this more, you know, kind of minty green. So I've just made the executive decision that I'm just going to kind of play this by ear as far as colors go. You know, in some cases where there is a difference, I liked the HDF color better, the silk better than the DMC. In other cases, I'm liking the DMC better. So I'm going to just totally go rogue and completely off the rails and mix silks with DMC, and I don't even care. So that's my plan anyway. Now that I've restarted for like a third time, but I finally have a little bit of forward progress to show. So I love that snake though. He's awesome. Okay, so anyway, so I've done my 2 days on that, even though one day was kind of a wash. And so next up is my Cuisine d'été by Echevette, which is also one of my Year of Whips pieces. And so just a reminder of how that looks right now with my skull needle minder and all, my sugar skull. So that's where I'm at. And funny enough, the green that's used here is that green that DMC green that I pulled to do that tree in. That's what it calls for, is this bright green. So interesting, no? So this is what I'm going to be working on tonight and tomorrow night. And I love working on this piece, so I'm excited to get back to it. And I'm stitching this on, I'm using 3 DMC colors. I'm stitching it on Silk Weaver Lemon Zest 32 count. So it's this beautiful lemony yellow color. And this calls for, you know, a red, a green, an ecru. I'm using B5200 instead of ecru since I'm doing it on the yellow fabric. I just needed it to be brighter. So love this piece, looking forward to working on it some more. And then the other thing I wanted to, I'm working on editing and putting together the my video for last week, so hopefully I'll have that up later today. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that back at the end of last year, someone posted in Stitchmania about doing, possibly doing a stitch along starting June 10th of this year to celebrate, well, maybe not celebrate, celebrate's probably the wrong word, in honor of the 325th anniversary of the Salem witch trials. And so she had specifically suggested that we do a specific Salem chart by Not Forgotten Farm. And I love that chart, the one that she had suggested. But you know, as I got to thinking about it, and you know, Emily Eclectic Possessions sent a note to that thread to bump it back up to the top yesterday, just as a reminder, hey, we were planning on doing this in June. So you know, asking if everybody was still planning on doing that. And so Emily actually said that she was thinking about doing a different chart because she has several in her stash. And that got me to thinking that I have had this primitive needle chart in my stash for forever. And it has been on my bucket list to stitch. And part of the reason that is on my bucket list to stitch is because I am actually descended from one of the women that was hanged as part of the Salem witch trials. Actually one of the ones that was early on, Susanna Martin. So I've always wanted to stitch this and have something in honor of those who were accused and hanged as part of the witch trials, as well as to honor my own ancestor. So I think that I am going to take part in that stitch along using this piece. I need to figure out my fabric. I think I have a piece of fabric that I may use that was actually intended for something else, but I think it may work for this. And then I'm going to over dye it so that I get some good modeling, you know, to kind of age it and make it look a little old. So that's my plan anyway. So the if you want to participate, the stitch along starts on June 10th and goes through, I think, September 22nd, which is basically the time period of those witch trials. And then the Instagram hashtag that we're going to use, I believe, is, and I'll put this in my show notes on my blog, but I believe that the hashtag is Salem Not Forgotten. So if you want to participate, please do. You can, participate with any Salem related chart, and I think it'll be a good time of remembrance. So that is my plan. I will let you know as we get closer what I decide on, if I get my fabric pulled together and everything. And this actually calls for 3 colors of silk and colors. Silk, the main silk that it calls for is Tuscan olive, I believe, which is obviously an olive green. And I actually have that because I had to order it for Blackened Sky. So I'm going to think about whether I'm going to use that or possibly a different silk. But my plan is to stitch Susanna Martin's name in a different color, just to highlight her, since she is one of my ancestors. So anyway, so that's my plan, and I hope if you feel moved to do that, that you will participate in the SAL. And I will be back tomorrow with to show you progress on my Cuisine d'été, so that you can see that. All right, bye. Hey guys, it is Tuesday, May 23rd, I think. Just finished work, and I am on my way to EGA for our monthly meeting. I have zero idea what the program is tonight, but I typically, listen and just stitch on whatever I'm stitching on. So, but I enjoy going and listening and, all that good stuff. So, but yeah, I have no recollection of what tonight's meeting is about. Oh well, that's okay. I have something going on here. It was much worse earlier. Yeah. It probably means that when I go, I'm probably going to get the "you've gotten some sun" comment, which I hate, but whatever. If McKenna can film with no pants, I can film like a lobster. So, Cuisine d'été, and that is kind of blowing that out. Let's see. Okay, so I worked on this last night, and I worked on it a little bit at lunch today. So I got the D''ETE stitched. I got the that little fleur-de-lis looking thing in the corner there done. I got all of that white, it's hard to see in this light, but all of that white kind of lacy bit done. And then the bit to the left of it with the road stitches. Love doing road stitches. And then I've started on the bottom right hand motif. So that little bit there at the very bottom, that is the bottom of the pattern. So let me show you that actually. So here's the chart. And so I am working on that motif down there at the bottom with the little white basket in it. So I'd really like to get that done tonight. And then all that will leave is this motif and then the little shelf and the dish towels below it. So, and I know that that is essentially a chart, but that's the front of the pattern. So what you gonna do? I love stitching on this piece, and I say that every time I get it out. I really enjoy it. It's just, I love the colors. I love the yellow linen. I just love everything about it. So the intention is that this is going to go in our kitchen at some point whenever I finish it. I have another piece in the kitchen that I stitched years ago that's called Lemon Meringue Sampler, I think. And lemon meringue pie is like my favorite thing in the whole world. My grandmother used to make me lemon meringue pie for my birthday every year. So, and she's the one that taught me to cross stitch. So anyway, so that is hanging in our kitchen, and I think this will be a good companion piece to it. So eventually I will get that last row done and then frame that sucker and put it in the kitchen. And then tomorrow is Mystery 9, I think is Mystery 9. I need to pull it off the Q-snap. It's still in that big, that 17 by 17 inch Q-snap. I need to pull it out of that and put it on scroll rods so that I can work on it. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out, but at this point, other than stitching in hand, I really don't have any other choice, because I decided to bead as I go, which, looking back, is probably not the best idea in the world. So it is what it is, but I will, I'm going to be getting that out tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. So, maybe I can get that done like tomorrow morning before the work shenanigans start at 8 a.m. We'll see. But for tonight, it's raining actually, which I'm very excited about. I love it when it rains. So it's raining, and I'm gonna go to EGA and work on my Cuisine d'été. And that's probably about it for me. Last night I stitched quite a bit, and we were catching up on some shows we had recorded. Are you guys watching this American Gods show? I've only read a few books by Neil Gaiman, and I love him. I've not read American Gods. But when I saw that they were making a show out of it, I was like, okay, I need to see this. One of the things that's really kind of resonating for me is the Egyptian elements to it. And particularly the idea of, that after you die, your heart is weighed against a feather, basically to weigh how how you were in life. And you know, then based on how you know, end up on the scale kind of determines what your afterlife is going to look like. And of course, I am so into, you know, all things Egyptian, which you can probably figure out from my cat's names. And so, you know, seeing something like that on this show just really, I think, is very, very cool. It's an interesting show, for sure. So, anyway, if you're watching it, I'd love to know what you think. If you've read the book, I'd also love to know what you think. So, anyway, okay, so I think that might be it for me. And I'm gonna head to EGA, do some stitching, and then tomorrow I will wrestle Mystery 9 into some scroll rods and see how that goes. So, all right, have a good night. Hey guys, okay, so EGA is done. It's weird that we're done with EGA and it's still light out. Very strange, but anyway, I wanted to show you what I got done while I was there. So, I got all of that red done, and then I've started on the white basket. So, I'm super happy with that. I don't know if I'm gonna get that basket totally done tonight, but I'm gonna try. So, anyway, I am heading home and going to get into some comfy clothes and snuggle up with my boys and watch some TV and see what kind of stitching I can get done. So, oh, and the program tonight was, they were doing I think it was a design by Glory B, and it was a little, you know, cute 4th of July piece that they were doing, and then one of the ladies that is an amazing finisher finished it on top of a box, like a lidded box that she had covered in ultra suede, or something that looks like ultra suede, like a dark blue. It was beautiful. So anyway, that was what the program was tonight, was doing that that kind of Independence Day stitch thing. But then the other thing was that the lady that does the amazing finishing, you may remember, like way back at the end of last year, that I stitched that little Christmas tree ornament for Guild. And so what that was for was, I think we did like 12 of those ornaments. Each one was different. They were all little trees. And then she was going to finish all of them into ornaments, and we were going to put them on a wreath. And then that was going to be our kind of raffle piece that we entered into for EGA seminar. So she brought it tonight, all finished with the wreath and the ornaments all finished and everything, and it looks amazing. So I took a couple photos, which I will insert after this video so that you can see them, see what the whole wreath looks like, and then the one that I did, what it looks like finished up. So that lady's super, super talented, and I wish I could finish as well as she does. So anyway, but it was fun to see the whole thing completed, so I'd kind of forgotten about it. But anyway, so I'm heading home, and we'll see how much I can get done on Cuisine before I switch over to Mystery 9 tomorrow night. So Bye.